Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to say thanks to ICOTEL, International Conference on the Teaching of English and Literature by University of Bengkulu, that has given me opportunity to present my presentation today entitled Implementing Blended Learning to Teach Listening for University Students. I'm Hellen Astria from Bengkulu University, will present you today. In the context of language acquisition, listening comes first before the other three skills: speaking, reading, and writing. This is the reason of why language teachers or lecturers need to think of how to incorporate listening into the teaching process and facilitate the students to have opportunities, both inside and outside the classroom, to expose them to significant listening input. On the other hand, students need interesting and enjoyable materials to understand listening. Blended learning here is one of the solutions to attract students' interest in learning listening. The primary focus of this article is to observe the implementation of blended learning in teaching listening. At the end, the implementation of blended learning is hoped to offer ways for lecturers to be more effective in teaching and learning process and bring positive outcomes to the student. I will start my presentation. I have divided this presentation into some parts. The first one is listening skills. Second one is the concept of blended learning. The third one is the process of blended learning, and then why blended learning. And the last part, of course, implementing blended learning to teach listening for university students. Listening. In the classroom, students get more knowledge and information by listening. We experience by ourselves. Brown 2001 stated that listening the significant segment in language learning and teaching in light of the fact that is in the classroom, listening is more dominant than speaking. In the classroom, students do listening more than the other three skills. That's why listening skill is important. Next, the concept of blended learning. Williams 2002, August Thorpe, and Graham 2003 mentioned that definition of blended learning is a blend of customary learning and internet learning. Customary learning that we always do in the classroom between the teacher and the students, the lecturers and the students, and internet learning where the teacher or the lecturers let the students to learn by themselves by using the listening, still related with listening. In the present investigation, the blended learning alludes to a mix of on the web and face-to-face methods in the light of the needs of the students and for the accomplishment of instructional goals. So here in blended learning, the students will not only get the materials from the classroom by the teachers or lecturers, but they will experience of how the web learning, how the learning process by using web or internet. Next, the process of blended learning. Of course, there must be a process, there must be a step of how to do blended learning. So, the guidance for lecturer and students in the process of designing and implementing blended learning in university courses are offered by the steps of blended learning. Beth and Borg 2010 stated some steps of blended learning, which the goal is to improve the lecturers' and students' learning success in listening. Next, this is one of the most important part. Why blended learning? Why blended learning? Because listening is a skill of language that is developed through practices. We know that students or people won't get any information if they don't listen well. So by giving the students many opportunities, if facilitating the students of how to get them attracted to learn listening by serving them a lot of interesting materials. So this is the importance of why we use blended learning. The last one is implementing blended learning to teach listening for university students. The key word in attracting students to get into a teaching and listening or learning process is interesting and enjoyable material offered by the lecturers. This is the key. Interesting and enjoyable material offered by the lecturers. Listening. Not everyone in the classroom understands English, so that's why the lecturers should find interesting and enjoyable material. How to get that interesting and enjoyable materials? By using internet, by using blended learning. That's why I keep saying that blended learning is suitable for teaching university student, for teaching listening for university student. So here are the following are the process of blended learning that will be done by the lecturers in the listening class. First one, of course, must be planning. Second one, designing and developing. Third one is implementing, and the fourth one is reviewing. Okay, that's all my presentation today. Thanks for your attention, and again, thanks Ecotel. Success. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.